Welcome back to the Skid Factory. I'm Skinny Ranga Al.
And I'm not Woody.
Where does this go, Dad?
Super awkward. Do you want a selfie stick and a GoPro so you can vlog it instead?
Yeah, that's probably good.
That's more Gen Y. Hang on, what generation are you kids?
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Welcome back to the Skid Factory. I'm Skinny Ranga Al.
And I'm not Woody.
Hey Dad, where does this go?
That was my grommet Gussie and his mate Harry introducing the show. They're going to give us a hand to pull the car down and refit the new bits. Gussie's going to be the owner of the car, so he's pretty keen. And Harry's into cars, so he's come to help. Since last week, we have got rid of the black car, pulled all the bits out that I needed, pedal assembly and that sort of stuff to make this into from an auto to a manual, and dropped it on its guts and towed it outside with the forklift, and Mitch from A Black Towing came and picked it up and took it to scrap, so cheers Mitch. So we got all the bits we need out of it. I pulled the inlet manifold and the wiring and everything off this engine that's going to go in. Rat had chewed only the most important wire on the engine loom, the crank angle sensor wiring, so it was probably a bit lucky that the thing was still running at all. So we'll swap the wiring loom and manifold over from the other engine. I normally like to pull the inlet manifolds off these to fit them anyway, because it's just a bit awkward trying to put a crane on them, so that's the way I would have done it anyway. We're going to change the injectors. I've got some 650cc Bosch from Golby's with adapters to go down to 11mm, so we'll do that before it goes in. I've got the boys to put some spark plugs in it, some Denso IKH22s, the Hoff's favourite spark plug, so they must be good. We've got a clutch on it. Got Old Cock to machine the flywheel for us. Set up the new throwout on the gearbox, which is
It's a trap for young
it's a trap for young Woodies. It's got to go back into the gearbox and then you click it in after everything's assembled. So that will happen when we refit the gearbox after the engine goes in. The rear end's just chilling. I've got a couple of bushes and stuff to go in the back of it, some hard race stuff from Golby's. That is to prevent tyre wear mainly, because they're renowned for it when the bushes wear out. So I think it's get stuck into it, eh?
You don't want to do your head gasket, Chad, or should we do that later on? We'll address the comments later, maybe.
Well, I don't know. There's plenty of room to talk about head gaskets.
Okay.
I can see there'd be little derpy comments all over the comments section of it.
Maybe we can just make one episode about you.
How much time must it take to do that capital lowercase, capital lowercase thing when they're typing it?
How do you pronounce that?
Sounds like it's way too much effort. Imagine doing it on a phone too. It'd be heaps. Anyway, let's get draining fluids and start ripping this bad boy apart.
Let's just go over this.
Yeah.
No, yeah, under it.
Under it.
Yeah. What do you? Why you tell him stupid things? Maybe not that aggressively. bro.
You scratched your rims. Oh, no.
God.
Maybe that's where that vibration's coming from.
No, the noise. Remember the squeaky noise it used to make?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I doused it in lithium grease.
Oh, when you hit reverse.
It went away after like a week. But
Put the noise in reverse.
yeah,
What was it doing?
squeaking
Yeah, what was causing it though?
the uni joint.
Yes.
See how that does that?
Yeah.
Now do that. Now do it the other way.
Like this way.
Yeah, see how it's all. Yeah, it's supposed to be like
Is it
that.
meant
But
to be smooth?
yeah. Now lift the radio. Flat. Do it.
Alan, I think you've got a rat problem.
Looks like it.
Here's one over here. Rat bag.
Hey, rats.
Where there's rats, there's cats.
Keep going.
What?
Keep going.
What happens when there's got cats
When there's cats, there's dogs.
and there's dogs? That's enough.
Wait, what is that?
What is
Like
all
wood?
that stuff?
It's
oh,
like rats
Oh, actually.
making nests. They always do it on Subarus. Got the old engine and gearbox out. Got the grommets cleaning up the engine bay a bit. It's a bit of schmutz there from age. It looked like it was pretty much on its last leg. There's a lot of old cooked bits and pieces there, which I kind of knew, but it never let me down, so it was a good egg. This is the Jatco 5-speed automatic transmission. These are a lot better than the 4-speed automatic transmissions that they had in them, but they're still not very good. So I don't mind an auto, but in this case it definitely did take the life out of the engine. It's a different beast when they've got a manual trans behind them. There's a lot more lively and sporty sort of feeling engine. So this will get retired to the scrap bin probably.
Scrap.
It wasn't in the greatest of conditions. It was still soldiering on though. The 6-speed boxes are pretty much, it's a similar size actually, but Subaru's never had a good rap for their 5-speed manual transmissions, particularly in the turbo cars. They were very weak in the early days. They did get a lot better, but people still broke them because they tend to drive like maniacs. The 6-speed boxes was a clean sheet, and they just went completely the opposite direction and overdid it everywhere. So these are very strong. The clutch is bigger. You can still brake them if you've got enough power, but usually they handle a lot of abuse, so they're not a bad thing. Gussie's not going to abuse it though. He's going to drive sensibly.
Are you, Gus?
Yeah.
No. The engines they're pretty much identical. There's a few little maybe year model differences between them. This wiring loom is not in good condition at all as well, so I might have to do a bit of plug replacement or find another one or make one out of two or something, but for the moment we're just going to refit this manual engine, then slot the gearbox in from underneath, and then we can do everything else with it in the car. They're pretty easy to work on, as long as it's not spark plugs or tappet cover gaskets. They're pretty easy to work on, so we'll just...
They're not that bad. They are annoying, but...
Yeah, well, that's... Otherwise,
Jobs
the turbo engines are very, very hard to work on nowadays, like the newer ones. This age car was an absolute nightmare to fiddle around with because they just kept stacking complexity into them. But these ones are good, so another plus for the 6-cylinder.
What happens with this engine now? Where's that going?
I'm just going to keep that for a spare. We'll probably rebuild it at some point, and I don't know, if the car's still around in a few years' time, we might turbo it. It'll have everything else ready to go, or we might rebuild it to put in Denny's twin turbo wagon as well. I think he's going to convert to manual too, because even with all the auto work he had done to it, it still hates it. It's just not up to it. So 6-speed manual, no problems. 5-speed auto, many problems. 4-speed auto, even more. So sometimes the autos work good, sometimes they don't. Let's fit this. Yeah, so that's like the engine mounts are probably more just about at the back of the engine, so it wants to fall forward, but when you've got the trans on it, which is this long, it sort of balances it out. So we just have to chock it up until we put the transmission in. That's how it's done.
With the car raised on the hoist, the engine is supported by a block of wood and some leftover tube. The transmission is then raised up via the gearbox jack and mated to the engine.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. That's the manual engine and trans in. One little catch, the only thing that really isn't bolting in this arrangement is that the transmission cross member isn't long enough because this was a 5-speed auto car. This whole section here is about 100 mil further back down the tunnel. So if it was a 4-speed auto car, it'd still be in the right place, or a manual. But in this case, it needs to, this centre section of this cross member just has to be extended. I knew that we'd have to do that because we did the same with Super Gramps. It's no big deal, just have to cut through here, add an extension piece, weld it all up again, done deal. Then we can just continue bolting things back on again. It's not that sort of big a deal. We'll just clean things up as we go, bolt it all back on, and then start working on the shiny stuff and maybe a bit of suspension work. But for now, Gussie's got to go to work. He's got a part-time job to pay for all this, so we're going to drop him to work. I don't really want to do it all for him, so we're going to leave it for the moment, and we'll be back next week with more spannering on the P-Plater special. Thanks for watching. See you then.
You're going to grab a welder next week?
Yeah, give it a crack.
Yeah? Can you weld, Harry? No? You want to learn?
Sure.
Alright. We'll have a competition. Who can lay the better beads?
You've done a bit of MIG welding.
A little bit. That was years ago.
Yeah, that was when you were about 10.
Yeah.
Who can weld better? Winner. What does the winner get?
They don't have to wash up.
You don't have
Well,
to
they don't
mop.
have to do that anyway, so that doesn't
You
count.
don't have to mop the floors.
Yeah.
Alright.
Good.
Cool.
See you next time.
What else you got to tell the homies?
Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and comment
And ring the bell.
and turn on notifications.
Alright.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, George.
Can you put some shots of Gussie driving Mod Max and welding and stuff when he was like 10 in the after the credits?
After the Patreon credits?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Is that normally he's got like
His teeth are like,
great into his teeth?
yeah, the size of a full-grown man's teeth on a small child.
How was that, buddy?
Remember, if you don't film it, it never happened. If you don't film it, it never happened. It never happened. It never happened. I'm the king of that. Woody always asks me to film shit and I never do it.
Where's your steel caps, Gromit?
Same place mine are.
Oh, now they're all dirty.
Now I have to pay for them.
Tell him to stop doing kickflips.
Kickflip damage.